mentioned before that the iris represents the pineal gland, and the markings around it represent the ventricle veins in your brain that actually connect your pineal gland to your brain. So all the chemicals and getting that system. But for me, the most interesting thing is not that information about anatomy, it was actually that observation of nature and how they were able to implement those ideas and actually live by them. So the markings around the eye also represent the markings around the eyes of a peregrine falcon. Now, if anybody watches any David Attenborough knows anything about nature, they'll know that the peregrine falcon is the fastest animal on the planet. It can fly 234 miles per hour. Yeah, it's faster than Lewis Hamilton's car, faster, nearly moving at jet speed planes, kind of, or commercial plane speeds. Essentially, the ancestors have observed that the peregrine falcon is not only this fast, but it also has some of the keenest eyesight on Earth as well. Its eyes can spot its prey from around 2 miles away. Okay, that's literally like us standing at the top of the Empire State Building and watching an ant on the ground and being out and seeing. Yeah, the brain of the peregrine falcon is so complex and so advanced and so intelligent that it can be flying over water, spot a fish in the water, swoop down, dive into the water, come out with it, judge the light diffraction, catch the fish and come back up like say it hasn't been touched by the water. Okay. On top of that as well, the peregrine falcon will fly really high above a storm. So when the air is brewing up, they'll just fly above the storm. So these were all different characteristics which the ancestors have observed and wanted to install that and kind of provide that as a lesson. So they made it like the kingly characteristics. Okay, so Heru is like the first hero, the champion, who's your hero. In fact, Heru is the first hero. Okay, if we're being real, when we go through the creational story and we talk about Heru fighting Set and things like this, we're talking about the basis of Superman. And the reality of the situation when we're talking about Superman should have been a black man, because if you're going to get your energy from the sun, you're going to need melanin, right? Now, the other thing about this, okay, we already know that this is not called it's not called a sarcophagus. So what's this called? The House of Life, right? So the House of Life is, of course, where the Saku, the mummy, will be stored for life. Why do you think that they put the eyes on this side? They put the eyes on this side because this is where the head would go. This is the side that the head would go. Okay? So they would put the eyes of Ra and Heru at the head side of the casket. So in the afterlife, the deceased will always be able to see evil and Janko and bad mind from wherever it comes from. Because it's got the eyes of the peregrine falcon. Yeah. So all of these things tie in together, and it's giving us, like I said, anatomical information. It's giving us information about nature, and it's also giving us a moral kind of compass for us to guide ourselves. And the last thing I would just say to you was as well is, if you remember me talking to you about the coffin text. Okay. These are the type of things that they would inscribe on the inside, because it was believed that the person then who was laid to rest would be able to then kind of come in here or kind of read those and, you know, be provided with additional protection and guidance.
Because this is obviously, you know, the space in between is very small, so I'm assuming this is for a baby or a child or something like that?
Not necessarily a child. It would have been for, you know, a relatively small person. Remember as well, when you're being dried out, you're going to shrivel up. And also as well, one last thing is, a lot of these, you know, the richer you were, the more status you had. You know the Russian babushka dolls? So you have one inside of another, inside of another, inside of another. Well, no one was doing that before they seen how they were burying the ancestors. Because the wooden boxes would go inside of a larger wooden box, which may go inside of another larger wooden box, which might go inside of a stone case, which then might go inside of a big granite case. Yeah, so if you were poor and had the money for that, you'd be babushka doll.